Coming live from the Aruail Bazaar of the Titas River over in Bangladesh. We are here with the 36th edition of ESL Open Cup Asia Division. I am, of course, the host Yaku of the Zaku, and with me today I have el enorme pececillo conduciendo el camino himself, Light_VIP. How we doing, Light?
What's up, Yaku? We are here. We are finally back. I'm sorry to everyone.
It's been so long.
Yeah, unfortunately we weren't here last week, so we did miss out on an ESL Open Cup Asia. It's something that we rarely do. But I'm sorry, but we're here this time. We're back, and mates, it's gonna be great.
That it is. And we'll start off pretty strong over here on Submarine LE. We all do live in the LE Submarine, as you're aware. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner map. We have the red Terran player coming down from the land of South Korea, about to go into the military, so he's gonna be given as much as he can get. He's representing Archangel Academy. We have Control.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Submarine LE, we have the Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Team LP. It is Hurricane.
Now, how recent was the acquisition by LP?
That's a good question.
Because I remember for the longest time, Hurricane was on, I believe, he was on Meloria, but I don't remember the other team he was on after that. And then they had to downsize because of COVID, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember for just the greater portion of this year, Hurricane was just teamless.
Yeah, he did join BSG, like at the start.
It was Bravestar.
Yeah. Like last year actually. But you're right. Like for the majority of this year, he's been teamless. And I did just check. He joined Team LP around 2 weeks ago. 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Pretty recent. I'm sure we would have noticed if we casted last week. So yeah.
Probably. I was watching GSL on Saturday. And I was like, wait, Hurricane's wearing an LP jersey.
Oh.
Wait.
So it's cool that he finally found one, because you're right, for the longest time he was teamless, which was a shame. Like Hurricane, he's such a good player.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even just this Saturday we could kind of see it a little bit, couldn't we?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't quite make it out, but he held his own pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. And he's still here, he's still competing. I'm not too sure like when his military service is due. As you said, like Control, his is coming up later this month, I believe. Oh boy.
Yeah, end of September, I believe, he said. Well, he got the 2 months notice in around July or early August, so yeah, it's pretty soon, to say the least. Control is going to be one of many.
One of many. Yeah, we already lost Chance. We're losing Control. It's quite a number of these Korean players that are going to be leaving us. But
Deer's been taken. Sue just played in his last tournament.
Yeah, it's
little rip.
It is. But at the same time, like I'm also, I can't wait for them to come back. Like many others. Like, of course, we have to bring it up. Beyond, he came back after his military service.
Absolutely.
Oh God.
And he is actually playing on Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
And it's gonna be absolutely hype. And I can tell you one thing about Hype Light.
Control. He is number one hype man, KR, and I was actually asking him about this one day, and I asked him, who do you really root for? And he said, oh, Bjorn every time. Oh, okay. Maybe taking some inspiration from Beyond himself. And we did already see that so far this game, like he's done, some probe damage, to say the least. We did see the bunker was placed behind the mineral line earlier, which was quite cute. It did finish up, so Hurricane didn't notice that. But yeah, so far Control, he's just been dealing some damage. He actually gets quite a lot of scouting information.
Absolutely. This Reaper has paid for itself many times over at this point. Getting the kills and the probes, even getting the Adept thanks to some fancy bunker micro. And of course the cherry on top, scouting 3 gates, a Robo, and a Twilight Council. I'm thinking Control, he is going to be on the defensive for a little while, but he's not going to be neglecting his unit production either.
Yeah, definitely.
He wants to go for that timing.
Yeah, we do see he's already working on that bio count, and because of that scouting information, he knows that he doesn't need turrets or anything like that. There's no DTs, no Twilight Council. Sorry, there is a Twilight Council, but it is for that blink. So yeah, like he knows everything that his opponent's doing, and he should be perfectly fine. In saying that, it does look like there was a bit of a windmine drop, and we didn't get to mention it, but mate, game 1, we're on Submarine.
Game 1, we are in Submarine. I have to wonder what the vetoes were if we're getting Submarine into TVP. I'm thinking both players are feeling very confident in holding a rush, because in TVP, I gotta be honest with you, like, it's tricky for both sides, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, the map like plays into it as well, right? Like the short rush distance, the fact that, you know, pushes can come a lot faster as well. So yeah, I'm curious to see what they have in store for us.
Well, Hurricane is posturing at the moment right outside the main base of Control. For a second, I thought maybe waiting for the Observer, but I don't see anything moving on the minimap. Except for these stalkers, they're going right on top of the Raven, and that is why you want to be a little bit more conservative with them. Control, he took a massive risk. He tried to go for the worker kills, but now all he's got is wasted gas.
Exactly, yeah. We saw that because of the observer positioning from Hurricane, he was able to see it, and you can definitely argue that Control, he saw the observer himself with the Raven, but it was on shift command and it did go out, and now now the stalkers are behind the mineral line.
Yeah, blinking right past that bunker. The bio completely out of position. And even still kind of out of position, even with the medevac here, Stalkers, they're just having a whale of a time blinking away and kiting these Marines.
Oh, yeah, and just like that, no Stalker went down there. He was able to kill 4 SCVs just for some shield and a bit of hull damage as well. So far, really nicely done by Hurricane. I mean, you can argue that getting the Raven in and of itself was amazing already.
Oh, absolutely. You get so much value out of that. Hurricane, you know, he's transitioning Colossus. You absolutely do not want to be caught with a disable on those Colossus if you're in Hurricane's shoes. And not only that, there's also the potential for the anti-armor missile, and as Control tried to do earlier on, Auto Turret Harass, they just chew through the probe. So, Hurricane, he is in a fantastic position, but he does not want to be caught out of position.
Yeah, would you argue that maybe it's better for Control to even remake a Raven, or is it like too far gone at this point, like for those disables?
Well, I think if Control wants to go for a timing, then trying to switch the add-on and get another Raven, it's just going to eat into that too much, right? If he does switch it to Ravens, then I would like him to go a bit more greedy. I would like him to, you know, maybe play a bit more drop focused and try to go for some expansions. But yeah, Control, he already got the upgrades. He wants to make use of them.
Yeah, definitely. And we do see all the upgrades are kind of lined up. We have concussive shell finishing, but at the same time, extended thermal lance and charge lots are done as well. So he has to be careful. And it looks like the Stalkers are looking to try and catch some reinforcements, but at the same time, that drop it is pushing across, and it does get spotted by the pylon.
Oh, but there's nothing in position to deal with that drop. And saying that, this push from Control completely taken out of commission. He does lose a Colossus. Hurricane does, but that is well worth, what was that, 4 tanks and the bio army?
Yeah, oh my god.
The drop got cleaned out, or chased away.
Yeah, and he killed like 1 SCV, sorry, 1 probe. Like, that was insane. Like, almost no economic damage was done by that drop, and it even gets cleaned up.
Some of the most effective defending that I've seen coming out from Hurricane this game. And now, all he's got to do, Light, is just coast the momentum, I feel.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
ride that wave.
He's barely lost anything. He's lost 1 Colossus, which I guess is pretty huge, but he still has 2. And again, like, that tank count plummeted for Control.
And how are you going to defend with just a single tank right now if you're Control? Maybe pull the SCVs against Colossus, though?
You bring out that Beyond selfie and you pray to him. You
do.
Pray to him right now.
You juggle the tanks with the medevacs. Listen, if Protoss can do it with Warp Prisms, Terran can do it with medevacs. It's just a little bit trickier. And I really like that Hurricane. He's not taking any risks right now, actually. He knows he has a range advantage with this extended thermal lance. He's just hold positioning here. He's just making sure he's going to be able to do damage while Control. He's unable to push into that.
Yeah, exactly. You could see he was trying, but again, the Colossus with that upgrade as well, we're just pushing the bio back. He is getting, you know, a couple more tanks. He now has 2. He's doubled his tank count, but again, like, he can't land his 3rd at all.
No, he cannot, and even worse, there's a Warp Prism that will be chased away from Control. It's these little victories that you really got to take as Control, but now to this high ground vision, the Blink right on top into the main base. Does eventually clear out the Warp Prism, which means that there won't be any more reinforcements for Hurricane, but he is still in a pretty good position. Oh, but he does have a buffer, though, for these Colossus.
Yeah, that was actually an amazing play there by Control. Like, a lot of the Stalkers, Hurricane, he got a little bit too greedy. He sent them away, so if that recall wasn't available, he would have lost his entire army. But he did recall, and these Stalkers, they're just dealing more damage. They even picked off a tank.
And they do a tank, 5 SCVs. And these Stalkers, totally extendable at this stage of the game for Hurricane. He wants to transition more into chargeless, doesn't he?
Yeah,
charged an Archon Colossus.
Yeah, he wants to be spending his, his resources, his minerals on these Zealots and the rest of his gas on the Robo units, or even Storm if he decides to get that. And yeah, at the moment we see he's taking a 4th base behind this. He's fully saturated on 3 bases. Even though like he almost lost his army, like he traded so well, and Control, like he's to be fair, like he isn't too far behind in the worker count.
Yeah, in the worker count at least, but on 4 bases. A Protoss player with 4 bases and Chrono Boost? Look at that light. 4 probes being made at a time. Again, Hurricane. He's riding a wave of momentum right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like he's riding that wave. And I mean, to be fair, he only has 2 Colossus with this army, so maybe with the best engagement, but
the Colossus are not the scariest part of that army light. As we see the chargelets chew through the tanks, it is just a bio left. And to be fair, Marauders do decently against this army that Hurricane has got, but I'm thinking Hurricane just has way too much at this point.
Yeah.
He's even being so conservative with this, just cutting the army in half.
That whole position. Finally, he decides to push into the 3rd base, and there it is.
GG is called, and Hurricane can be taking game number 1.
Wow, GG. And again, I'm really surprised that that Submarine was let through the vetoes. I feel like Hurricane really utilized this map to his advantage. Like the way he blinked his Stalkers, the way he would get into the main base, get into the natural as well. Like every single time, I think it was like 2 or 3 times he was able to do that. And wow.
Yeah. Positioning is key, as I've learned from my ladder games.
Yep.
To clarify, from losing my ladder games.
Oh god. And even some people are pointing out in the chat, this is something that I noticed as well. At first I was like, I was really hoping like Armani would sign up because he's been doing really well, like especially in GSL, right? And then I looked, there's 0 Zergs. There's 0 Zergs today.
Rip all of them Zerg players. I guess they decided to hibernate.
Yeah, it was surprising because I mean typically it's the Terrans that are a little bit like not represented, and a little bit of Zergs, mostly Protoss, but
yeah,
this time 0.
It's usually something like about 80% Protoss, 15% either Terran or Zerg. Some weeks we have more Zerg players than Terran players, some weeks we have more Terran players than Zerg players, and then 5% the others.
Yeah, but 0, this might be a first. Yeah, like typically we have like Armani or Ragnarok, right? Sometimes Sue, but obviously that's a different story with Sue nowadays. Silky, 1 or both, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd. Rex as well, now that I think about it. Rex was, I think, maybe the Zerg player that we've casted the most in ESL Asia? No, it's Armani.
It's Armani.
It's got to be. It's Armani.
Yeah.
It's 100% Armani. Maybe Ragnarok.
I'm sure Ragnarok.
I don't know why Rex...
Go on.
I was just going to say, I don't know why Rex sticks out in my mind. Like, yo, Rex. We haven't casted him in a while.
Yeah, I think it's... Even though we haven't casted him maybe as much as some of these other Korean Zergs, his games are the most memorable, like especially Black Queen.
Oh, absolutely. Right? Yep. It's got a way of doing things.
Definitely. But I hope this isn't a permanent thing. I hope, I don't know. Definitely when it comes to Armani, I imagine he's like preparing even more for GSL because like he's going maybe even further than he has
for the first time, I believe.
Yeah.
2016.
It's huge for him. He's looking so in form right now.
And I just feel so I'm not sure if validated is the right word. It's more of proud, because we all know here on the CranKy Ducklings, it is our moral obligation to cast Armani whenever we can. It started with IEM, the contract was signed, and to just see him get better and better every single time. it's really great to see that really paying off in an offline event.
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember even when we were looking at the GSL groups, we were making our own predictions, and when we saw that group, like with SOS and Cure, we were like, "Oh, Armani, like he's our boy.
He's got a decent shot."
Definitely. And he did it. He
did.
Fair, I was thinking like maybe second, but he came out first in his group. I was like, "Oh damn."
Damn. Dragon Jin highlighting a message for us. Unfortunately, Light, how's your Hangul reading?
You know what? I'm gonna just open up Google Translate.
The Yaku method. I like it. I like it quite a bit. And while you're doing that, I shall just introduce our players here. We're going to be loading in onto Ice and Chrome. Hashtag where's the Chrome? Hashtag the Chrome is a lie. Hashtag the Chrome is in Dare Ice Coffee. LE. In the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner of the map, we have the red Terran player coming down from the land of South Korea. He is going to be representing Archangel Academy. One of the last times we're going to be seeing him, unfortunately, but we will always remember him as the #1 hype man, KR. Give it up for Control.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ice and Chrome LE, we have the Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Team LP. It is Hurricane.
So did Google Translate yield anything there? Or?
It was just like Korean players. Like that was it. Like Korean people / Korean players. It's like, all right, cool.
Was it like a question?
I think he was just.
Or is it just like Korean people? Yeah.
I think he was hyping up his people. You know, like some national pride, maybe.
Koreans. Love them.
God.
Go. Ah, okay. I get it.
Yeah, he's cheering for them.
Yeah, I would cheer for them too.
As we are the only stream covering this match, there is, of course, either 1 or 2 Korean streams. I know Maddox is sometimes Into the Clan also run their own stream, Into the Inu, sorry. So, yeah. There are some Korean streams, but none covering this match.
It's actually kind of a confusing name now that I think about it.
I think
if he plays in like a team league for Into the Clan, would they be like, he is Into the Clan, Into the Inu?
I'm pretty sure that the Into the is because he's on Into the Clan.
Part of his name, right? Okay.
Yeah. That
makes sense. It's kind of like On Fire.
Exactly. Speaking of,
yeah, Hurricane.
Into the Clan.
He's been Into the Clan and On Fire so far in this series.
Oh.
And all right, I thought that Reaper was actually going to make it out, and that actually makes things a lot worse right now. Control forced to salvage that bunker. He did, to be fair, get a decent amount of scouting information there. You know, saw the Nexus, saw the expansion, saw that it was going to be a gateway core. I'm not quite sure if he saw the Twilight Council.
Yeah, unfortunately, he did not see the Twilight Council. He did see all the pylon placements, so he knows where tech can be thrown down, but didn't quite see the tech of choice. And yeah, it was a bit of a shame. I think he overextended a little bit with that Reaper. It was one shot away from escaping, but it did go down in the end, and it looks like he's going for something similar to game number 1.
Yeah, hopefully it's going to be working out a little better for him this time. The mines did do a little bit of damage earlier on, but this time it's really going to be more important for Control, I feel, just because he really needs that scouting information.
Oh yeah, definitely, and we'll see if he can do a little bit more here. Again, like, it will be hitting a little bit later, you know, compared to Submarine, because Submarine, the rush distance is a little bit shorter. But at the same time, you know, it does all depend on Hurricane's like reactions on his Stalker positioning.
Yeah, and right now he's just doing about the safer positioning for the Stalkers right now. Not exactly putting them in a place that he can take advantage of the positioning, but keeping them in a place where if Control went in with anything, it's gonna get hit.
Yeah, definitely. As we do see Control, he's ramping up on things, and that drop is going across the map. There are 3 Widow Mines in it. Okay, three Widow Mine drop. Not bad, not bad. But Hurricane, I just love the way that he's positioning his pylons. He's like ready to spot anything coming from the north.
Indeed, he is almost anticipating this, and it's not so much of anticipating, actually, now that I think about it. It's more of a case of, I already got Stalkers in myself, I should just put some vision in the north.
Yeah, definitely. And we do see the medevac is going in, and it should get spotted. Yeah, it does get spotted by the pylon. So if Hurricane is paying attention, he should see it. Does he react? He does.
Even more Stalkers being warped in right now. That's not going to stop these mines from getting out. And a couple of them are going to burrow. Oh, it's looking pretty close, Light. But in the end, only 2 probes go down, as well as it's only a single Stalker. Hurricane, once again, Control has been impeccable. I said the
Did you confuse yourself?
I confused myself, Light.
God damn it. Yes, the Control was on a Hurricane. But I think
Hurricane was a red crab.
God damn it.
I don't know if you watch GPO to Saturday Light, but that's my new metaphor, or my saying.
Oh, okay. I was actually editing the VOD and I heard that. I was like, what? Crabs? I heard you saying it a couple of times, but okay. Oh my god.
Alright, well.
Yeah.
Yeah, now Control, he's really gonna test out whether or not he can deal with all this pressure. Whether he's gonna cook or whether he's gonna... I don't know where I was going with that, but he is dealing with this pretty well.
Yeah,
losing 5 SCVs, which could have been a lot worse.
I don't know if you noticed, but earlier he was able to kill one of the observers, and yes, so far he was able to hold fairly well. Like, it's a lot harder on this map for the Stalkers to get behind that mineral line and trade as efficiently as on Submarine, because there is that ledge to just blink out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's the exit strategy for these Stalkers? There is none.
It's
go in and kill as much as you can.
Pretty much. So Control this time he's holding a lot better. You were talking about scouting information with the drop, and earlier when that drop did go in, he did scout the robotics bay. So again, that did tell him what was coming and what kind of army composition that he was going to be facing. No big surprises. It is what Hurricane did in the previous game.
Yeah, and I think partially because of that, and also partially because Control knows that there are a lot of Stalkers out right now, he is keeping his Raven back at home. He is being a lot more conservative with it, building up that energy. He knows that he needs that interference matrix.
Oh yeah, definitely. I do think that this does go to show, like, Control, he is adapting from game to game, right? The previous one, he lost it a little bit needlessly, right? This time, he's being a lot safer with it.
Absolutely, and this time to push, it's probably going to do a lot better. I'm just watching the production tab right now, like, waiting for those medevacs to pop. There they are, and Control, he's going for it.
Yeah, we got 3 tanks. We finally have that Raven as well for that interference matrix. And what is there? There are 3 Colossus. Decent amount. Yeah, there's a decent amount of gateway units and some sentries for force fields.
Absolutely, and I think the important thing is, 1, 3 Colossus means that at least 1 of the Colossus will not be disabled. But 2, he does have to be careful not to walk into his force field.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see, as the hallucination did spot the army, and it looks like he's going to be picking away at it as well. Looking to try and not surround.
Yeah, pretty good scan for Control. Knows exactly where Hurricane's army is at, but he does need to pick and choose what he uses a Raven for. There are a lot of possibilities for him right now, and not all of them are correct.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you want to anti-armor? Do you want to interference matrix? Like, how much do you want to commit, right, to this attack? And he does send a force forward, but it does get picked off.
Yeah, it does chase him away, but this is a really brutal tank positioning. Even with extended thermal lance, they rubble there, just really providing a great cover for the tanks. Now, there isn't any vision, though, for Control for the time being. But here we go. Hurricane flips the switch. That Raven, I'm watching it, Light. But it is backing away. Control. He knows that he cannot win this fight. He is just retreating back on home, trying to find a more favorable position. But these Zealots, Light, they get a great surround of some of the bio.
Yeah, due to that, those Zealot legs, they are able to chase down a lot of the bio. But there are 3 tanks here defensively, alongside, you know, the rest of his army, his reinforcements, and it looks like he may be able to hold here. He still has the Raven.
That he does, and does get disabled as well as an anti-armor, and this is just going to be enough for Control to try to hold this. He is losing a lot of SCVs to these Colossus though, but the bio does get a pretty good concave. The buffer is about to run out, but a quick warp in of Zealots. That is something that you've got to respect if you're Control.
Exactly, and just like that, the anti-armor, the interference matrix does run out. The 3 Colossus are still standing strong.
And there we have it, Light. I guess you could say Hurricane was out of control that game. I can hear you take the headphones off.
You could say that Control was a hurricane.
Can you?
You could say. I'm done.
You could say that.
You
but
could.
Is it? But does it fit? You know, is it appropriate?
None of this is appropriate, Yaku. This is. Oh god.
Oh, and we actually have a really good treat for us for the next game, Light. It is going to be a PvP, but it is going to be a PvP between 2 players that we personally are massive fans of. Of course, Hurricane here, we've casted him just now, but now he's going to go up against Patience, who, funnily enough, is going to be playing this Wednesday in GSL.
Yeah, he is. So I was just quickly messaging the players, and he is going to be playing in that group with Björn, who we were just talking about. Patience, like, we're massive fans. He may not be like the cleanest player, he may not be like the best Protoss player out there, but god damn it if he's not entertaining.
Absolutely. Every game he plays, win or lose,